WCCT Global is looking for healthy male volunteers for a paid clinical research study. You may receive compensation up to $12,400. Healthy males age 18 to 45 may qualify. Help us advance the future of global health today. Call us at
We live Hawk Talk, week 3, season 3. We got the regulars in here. Zach, Percy, Lover of Tech. All their faces are on the right names this time. That's good. Zach, what's good, man?
I'm just excited, man. It's last week of non-conference. You know, it's been a crazy slate of 2 weeks, and we're just getting started, man.
And we are just getting started. Percy, what's puffing over there, bro?
So what's up? You already know what time it is. Sparking up. Puffy Cooper in the house. I'm ready for two.
Puffy Cooper, Tech, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. This season's flying by already. I'm ready for that three-peat.
Yeah, crazy that we're in. Oh shit! Yeah, he's calling that out. I mean, until somebody beats him, I ain't arguing with the man. They continue to win basketball games. What's up, crowd? What's up, everybody? CSBA, we're excited to be back on Hawk Talk. It is flying by, like Tech said. We're already in week 3, fellas. Next week is conference already. High school league is already starting to get guys under their belt. Zach and I are very excited about that. Well, it's coming along, man. Week 3. We got some stuff to talk about today. We'll talk about it at the end. Let's go over a quick recap of last week's games real quick. Day 1, we had some really good games last week, guys. Week 1, I'm not gonna lie, week 1 kind of worried me a little bit on some of these blowouts, but week 2 picked up, man. It was some good basketball. The first game of the week was almost a thriller. Louisville almost upset Michigan State. It was 89-87. For the guys that watched that game, there's some crazy storylines that went on in that game. Baron Thomas getting benched at the end, Deion Cooper coming in and just being clutch as hell. I don't know where that came from, but whatever it was, it worked, and Michigan State outlasted the Louisville Cardinals. Zach, that was a pretty wild game.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw that week 1 game where Michigan State needed Baron Thomas to score, and he couldn't do it, and then he got benched, and they won. I mean, I'm not saying that's a key to success, Nighthawk, but I'm just throwing that out there. Let everybody else think what they want, okay?
It's not a key to success, you're right. But, you know, Braylon Banks saved our ass, I'm not going to lie. That freshman is good, man. We talked about him last week.
Sick, dude.
17 points, 4 rebounds, and assists, 2 steals, and a block. So he was great. Carter Glass, 13, 3, and 5, played great. So our freshman played really well. Glass hit a big 3 at the end there. But Louisville looked really good. Passy Grimes had 13 and 5. And how about Corey Dobbins, man? 22 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. That guy was great in that game, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to give the coaches a heads up. My recruiting ended earlier, and he came in right after I ended. And I posted in the coaches channel, I'm like, this dude's going to be a stud. I've been trying to tell you. And now him and Grimes, they're clicking together. That's going to be nasty for Louisville. Terrence Top, too. We haven't really seen him explode. Louisville can be really great this year.
They got a good team. They got a playbook change last week, and we all know how playbook changes can really turn a team around, and they looked really good in their new playbook. So, if this Louisville team's the one that's going to show up night in and night out, some teams got some stuff to be worried about. So, props to Crackback and the Cardinals for that. Second game of the night, Duke upset UNLV 73-61. That one was another thriller. Tech, how about the Blue Devils? I won't make Percy talk and give the Blue Devils praise. Tech, how about the Blue Devils upsetting a team that we all have come to know as one of the best teams in this league?
Yeah. Duke showing what they're made of. They got a big matchup this week, which we'll talk about later in Oregon. And I know the coach of Duke was already calling an upset in the league chat. So, be prepared. They're ready to come out and show what they got.
Yeah, Duke Coach Griff's got some fire under his butt right now with that win. The mouths have started at Duke, but hopefully they can keep it up. I mean, Ole had 17 and 8. Marquis played great, was 14, 2, and 6. I think maybe all 14 were in the second half. Jonell Ritter had 11, 4, and 1. Wasn't needed too much in that game, but had a great first half as well. And then on the UNLV side, Julius LaFleur was really the only one to show up in that game, 18 and 12 and 4 blocks, showing why he was the player of the year last year. But the rest of the running Rebels were really held at bay. Really good game planning by those guys at Duke. So I'm excited to see Duke as well. Wins like that and, close games like Louisville played make me all the more excited to see the rest of this season play out. And then the third game of the night, Kentucky held on against Syracuse Percy 84-79. The combo of Devin Anthony and Connor Caden combined for 44 points for Kentucky. The point guards destroyed Syracuse's. Gus Lake's a guy that talked a lot of smack about being able to defend, and he got torched by these point guards at Kentucky. But some of these Syracuse guys showed up. Gino had 18, Frankie J had 13, 5 and 3, Trey Jackson had 15. So Syracuse didn't play terrible, but I think Kentucky just edged them behind those two guards.
Yeah, man, it was a good game. Kentucky played tough. We're all trying to figure out where's that Syracuse team that we saw last year. It's tough to see them start off 0-2 because I think a lot of us had really high expectations for them. But I mean, Kentucky's just been one of those teams that, they've been one of the better teams in the first 2 seasons, and it looks like they're doing the same this year. And like you said, Gus Lake, I mean, he couldn't even guard the Kentucky guards. How do you think he's gonna guard Dickey? No, I'm just kidding. But no, that matchup, man, was a pretty good matchup, and I want to see that ran back. I think Syracuse could put up a lot better games. So that was one of the better matchups of the week for me.
Yeah, we Kentucky, we talked about struggling against stretch teams that kind of changed their lineup around last week, and it worked for them. So maybe that Kentucky is listening to us here on Hawk Talk, and making adjustments on the fly and going away from their too big look when they're playing teams with good shooters on the perimeter. So, but congrats to the Wildcats for that win. Tuesday night, Florida got the first win of the season and Coach Ware's first career win, 82-77 over Purdue. That was a thriller as well. Kwame Love, 20 points, 16 rebounds. We didn't mention this last week, but I believe Kwame Love is an ex-Purdue Boilermaker from season 1. So a little bit of a revenge narrative now that I'm looking back on it. But 20 and 16 is a big-time stat line. The Merciless brothers combined for 27 points. And then on the Purdue side, Jay Holiday at 19 and 6. But Zach, congrats to Florida. They looked really good in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a close game throughout. I don't remember if I called it, I streamed it, but I did something with that game. And Purdue kept it close. I mean, shout out to them. Ryder kept the game pretty close. But Ware was able to will his team. And I think his player had a couple pretty good assists there. And I think that's a big key for them. He has a lot of weapons. And if he can, I think it's Cookie Chris. If he can get Cookie Chris going, I don't remember his player's name. But if he can get him going.
Chris Houston.
Plus, yeah, Chris Houston, thank you. Kwame Love, the Merciless, and let Ware distribute. It'll be really sleeper team. I mean, that conference is brutal, but they could do decent for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. Next game of the night, we had another. Guys, I'm not lying when I say these first 2 nights were just insane games. Indiana took Georgetown down to the wire attack. It was a fantastic game. You streamed Tuesday, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
So you streamed this game. How about Doc Grykos, man? 32 and 11. Like that would be my player of the week if I had a player of the week this week. Shot 15 for 18 from the field.
Yeah, insane. I know Coach Ace had some adjustments after the first week that he made, and I mean his team just came out and gave Georgetown a game. I was really scared for Georgetown going into that fourth quarter because Indiana was just feeling it, but Georgetown able to pull it out late on the back of Cash Packs with 9 points. Their leading scorer was Mojo. Mojo actually went off in the fourth quarter, kind of leading them to that win.
Yeah, for sure. If anybody's in the chat, Taryn Holes is my brother, so say what's up to my brother. Georgetown, came back. Credit the Hoyas, though. This is a team that we continue to talk about playing from behind and fighting till the end. And they did it again in this game. Mojo Rising at 15 points, 5 assists. Emmanuel Blackman at 16 and 12. Slim Watkins had 12 and 3. So this Georgetown team is still playing from behind, but I guess that's what they're going to do all season.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I learned that the hard way in season 2, playing from behind and being a fourth quarter team isn't fun at all. especially not to watch. But these guys have the talent to end up, pulling out with the win. So that's what I see them doing the rest of the season, just collecting these wins.
Sorry, guys. The last game of the night was kind of our first blowout of the week. Oklahoma State 97-63 over Notre Dame. 97 points, Percy, is that's no joke. This Oklahoma State team has been out for blood this entire season, and to be honest, I'm just glad we don't have to play them. And I mean, we might have to play them in the season, or in the tournament, but I'm glad we don't have to play them in the regular season because they look like they're just out to kill people right now. Trey Upton had 14, Quick had 13, Un had 13, Dudley had 11, Kelso had 11, Bigums had 10. Like, these dudes can hit you from every angle.
Yeah, man, Bigums can have a triple double at any point. Like we're all just waiting for it to happen. But yeah, it looks like he's on a redemption season. He got a MVP season 1. Then we gave it to LaFleur last season. So I think Bigums is like, hold up, I'm still the MVP here. And he's leading that team. Him and Upton, like you said, they're out for vengeance. They're out to kill people. I mean, hey, they scored 27 points against us in the fourth quarter in week 1, bruh. Like that's a scary team. That's a scary team.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
Yeah, I mean they look phenomenal right now. It would be hard to not rank them number 1, except for the fact that Kansas still hasn't lost a game in like the last season or the last year. So moving on to Kansas. Kansas dropped a 29, I believe, point quarter in the fourth quarter, or some crazy run, Zach, to pull off a come from behind victory over a tough Gonzaga team. The Zags looked really good for 3 quarters of that game, and then all of a sudden Kansas found their stride. Jar Duncan and Michael Scarn both had 18 and 10. Kitchler had 19. He played unbelievable. Stern had 15, and J-Mac had 14 and 12. For a lot of that game, it looked like J-Mac was shutting down Jar Duncan, and then the fourth quarter happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's uncharacteristic. Kansas, we're used to Tez Green and Robert Davis scoring, and the guard-heavy offense. But like you mentioned, Scarn and Jar Duncan, they were insane, playing great. J-Mac, like you said, give him credit. He held Jar Duncan down for the first 2.5, 3 quarters. Jar started to get going. In the fourth quarter, he just took over, and then Tez hit a couple threes. Broccoli did his thing, and ultimately Kansas was able to take it.
Yeah, I think Gonzaga did a phenomenal job. I think Stern did a great job on Broccoli, a guy that we've been talking about breaking out right now. Stern accepted that challenge and did a great job. J-Mac did a great job for 3 quarters. They just couldn't hold him off. They ran out of gas, and I say this every week. Kansas finds ways to win the games, and they found a way to win that one again. So, congrats to the Jayhawks, Tech. Congrats to you guys. That was a tough fought win. I thought that was going to go Gonzaga's way for a little bit there. So, congrats to you guys for that. The next game was USC and Clemson, which was phenomenal. If you guys missed that game, that might have been the game of the week. I'm not going to lie. That was phenomenal as well. So Clemson came out 81-73 over USC to move to 2-0. Tech. So congrats to the Clemson Tigers, 2-0. Coach Ty White has them on a roll over there. 24 points from Ling Yao. He looked incredible for USC. 14 for Evan Hill off the bench. On the Clemson side, 17-6-5 for Ronald Burgundy, 16-2-5 for Charlie Banks, and 17 for Moses King. Ronald Burgundy looks like he might be a contender. Actually, him and Banks look like they might be contenders for Freshman of the Year right now. Clemson looks really, really good in the ACC. Or they'll be good in the ACC. They look really good right now, though.
Yeah, tons of talent on this Clemson team. I mean, USC too. I mean, they played a great game, but Clemson just showing what they're made of. They really put together a great squad in this offseason. And like you said, 2 players that could have possibly be freshman of the year. I mean, that's awesome to have on your roster. I see Clemson making a late March Madness run for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that Freshman of the Year is going to be packed with Mojo and Toy and Calvin Prophet and Braylon Banks. It's going to be fun at the end of the season, but you got to give props to those guys. Burgundy really led that team. I think we watched this game. I think that they opened with like 5 dunks in a row. Clemson did, and it was like, what the hell's going on right now? And then Ling Yao dropped like 6 threes. I don't know what happened in that game, but it was wild. So, but yeah, that was a fun one to watch. And then UConn beat Oregon State 79-67. Oregon State was up in that game for a little bit. UConn might have got scared a little bit, but they kind of pulled away at the end. Just too much depth, I think, for UConn. gave Oregon State, Oregon State started hitting fatigue, and the depth from UConn really showed out. Dalton Smith had 13. Turk Maverick had 10, 5, 3, and 2. And then on the UConn side, Walker Lobo had 14, and Ken McCormick had 18 and 6. McCormick was phenomenal in that game. Percy, you know, how good is this UConn team when they have the depth to be able to overcome bad games, maybe by some of their starters?
Man, they're deep 1 through 10. I mean, any of those guys can come in and lead the team in scoring any given night. Um, they're tough, man. I get the honor of playing them this week,
Yeah.
and I am not ready for it, man. me and me and their coach, we've been going back and forth. Though I think we both feel the same way about each other's teams. I mean, we're both stacked, and we're looking for a juggernaut game, man. It's going to be a hell of a game. I can't watch it
Yeah, that game's Thursday night.
100% game of
as
the
long
week.
as we win.
That's gonna be a bloodbath, and I'm glad that's on the schedule for sure. Jacob McKnight had 12, 10, 3, 3, and 3. That's quite the stat line for him. But yeah, Connecticut continues to look very good. Although that slow start may be a little concerning. But it's UConn. So the next game, North Carolina 80, Marquette 72. Another fantastic game. Marquette was up a lot of that game, and kind of the same story. North Carolina. And the closer, Mike Coco, just came down to it and really closed out that game. Coco had 23 and 4. Dickey had 14 and 4 assists. Percy had 12 and 7. Zachary O'Ryan had 12, 2 and 3 and 2 steals. It feels like this might be the first game, Zach, where the entire North Carolina team kind of got involved. And that's kind of what we've been waiting to see out of North Carolina, so it's really good to see. And then on the Marquette side, Zeke Ali had 17. Cody Miller had 16. They've yet to get Darius Martin really going yet. When they do, they're going to be really scary.
Yeah, I mean, just to speak on the UNC side of things, the reason they had to get going is because they struggled. Marquette played great defense starting off, and I don't know why I remember this, but North Carolina had 20 free throws, which, I mean, again, it means they were aggressive. They were attacking. Not only Coco, Dickey had a nice dunk. Adrian Smith played well, and they shot 19 of 20 from free. So if they weren't even half as aggressive, Marquette could have took that, and it was very close. I mean, Zeke Ali, Darius Martin. Marquette's a great team. It's just Coco, did my Coco things.
Yeah, he closed best closer, probably the best closer in our league. Did it again, so he always seems to come alive late in the game. What just happened to my David? What's up, buddy? David just crashed our show. That's funny. Oh, David's allowed to crash our show. That is definitely allowed. He's done great in the booth. Shout out real quick to some of the new guys in the booth. David did a great job. Juan did a great job streaming last week. Fantastic job, guys. Tennessee. This is the game that had everybody in league chat, late night league chat was raving about this one. Tennessee pulled off a big upset over Michigan, 65-57. Huge program win, Tech, for the Tennessee Volunteers, getting a win over a final, final two. I mean, Michigan was the runner-up last year.
Yeah.
And Tennessee, not ranked, comes in and upsets the Michigan Wolverines. Rocky Davidson had 22 points. Leek McGee had 14. Macy Pretchell on the Michigan side, Macy Pretchell and Shane Page both had 12. But how about the resilience of this Tennessee team to overcome a team like Michigan and pull off one of the biggest upsets, I think maybe the biggest upset I've ever seen in the CSBA.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't see this game live, but when I would look back at the game, I was just mind blown. I mean, not to say that Tennessee is not a good team, but Michigan is a very good team. So this kind of was surprising. But I mean, if you look at the team comparisons, I mean, 7 steals to Michigan's 3 steals. One of the big ones that steps out to me is the 3 points made. Tennessee hit 7 shots, 7 3-pointers, and Michigan only hit 1. They were 1 for 11 from the 3-point field, and you're gonna lose if you shoot 1 for 11 any game. But yeah, I mean, shout out to Rocky Davidson, man. He took it over that team last season, and it's just been up ever since. The program's been up ever since. So they've been doing a great job.
Yeah, Coach Rocky and Caden Craig now are kind of tag teaming that team, and they've done a great job working together. Rocky was away for a little bit, and Caden stepped in and really recruited really well for Tennessee, built this team well, and now they're dangerous as a pair coaching together. So watch out for Tennessee for sure. But like you said, in these huge upsets, the stars kind of got to align. You almost got to play a perfect game and hope that Michigan doesn't play a very good game. And that's what happened here. Like you said, Michigan shot really poorly, and Tennessee just played great. So you got to give credit to where credit's due on Tennessee for pulling that upset. And then the next game, Florida State. To me, this was a big statement win. Percy, 84-66 over Texas. This Texas team is really no joke. I know a lot of people they haven't seen the full potential of this Texas team. They're a very good basketball team. So for Michigan State or for Florida State to win this game 84-66, Percy is really a statement win for the Seminoles.
Yeah, man, Florida State, their coach has been doing some good things.
He's
I
okay.
see that.
He's okay.
He's leaning in. He's all right. Nah, man, he's put together a really good team, and a lot of it is because he knows exactly what he wants to do with his team, and he built the team for that. He got the players to fit his system, and I think that 5 out is just doing good things for them, and I think they just look good this year, man. I'm not looking forward to playing them in ACC. I'll tell you that, and I'm sure a lot of the other ACC coaches feel the same way. Um, he's built a good system, and that Texas team, like you said, man, they're good. They're tough.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been one of the teams that were really good last year, and a lot of the players left, and they just got some new players and doing the same thing, and that's going to be a team to watch in the Big 12 this year.
Yeah, Baker Mason. They just picked up Hunter and Joey Case, and that's big for them. So Texas is going to be good. I think my favorite thing about the 5 out is just the opportunities to present some guys. 56% shooting from the field, 47% from the 3-point line. They still get to the line 10 times. It just opens a lot of gaps. Monte White had 21 points in that game. His best game as a Seminole so far. They're very tough to guard. So. I'm also very happy that I don't play in the ACC right now because that would be a tough game. UCLA took a win over Providence, 91-64. Not the best game by the Young Friars, but good win for UCLA, who dropped that close one to Marquette last week. Tabano had 14 and 9. Upton O'Good had 13. Ingram had 12. Huncho Jack and Danny DeVito both had 10. So very balanced scoring. Zach, for the Bruins on the Providence side, Sir Buckets had 16 and 5. But other than that, not much from the Providence side. Camden had 13. He's been continuing to play well. But yeah, not the best game from the Friars.
Yeah, I mean, I was calling this game. I think it was with Ted or maybe somebody else. The one thing Providence, if they can find that second guy besides Camden, I don't know if it's a playbook change, scheme change, or something. They could be really dangerous. They have the talent for it, but I noticed if that initial pick and pop or pick and roll action didn't work for them, they were stuck, and they would try it again and try it again. And unfortunately, it didn't fall their way this game, but they'll definitely be back.
Yeah, and a good win for a UCLA team that needed a win after that loss last week. So good on the Bruins there. But you're right about Providence. They need a second guy aside from Camden. Last week it was Craig Steele. This week is Sir Buckets, and they need to figure that out going forward so that they can game plan accordingly. Oregon beat Ohio State 75-57 in the second game on Friday night. Devin Davis had 12. Scooby Lewis had 12. Santos had 11. Grayson James had 10. Johnny Ward had 13 and 8. So 5 in double figures for Oregon. And then on the Ohio State side, Fauché and Pinesaw had 12 and 10, or 12 for Fauché, 10 for Pinesaw, 11 for McAdoo. Sean Moore did not play his best game. One of the few times I'll probably say that all season that Sean Moore played poorly, probably in his eyes. 3 for 13 in the game. Just didn't have his best game tech. But Oregon looked really good. Like I said, 5 in double figures, and they kind of just rode that to a win.
Yeah, Oregon doing Oregon things. I mean, Johnny Ward, shout out to Johnny. He joined the stream team a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And, he's been killing it on color commentating. his player having one of the games of his career so far, 13 points, eight rebounds. Just Oregon doing Oregon things. I mean, they continued from last season being one of those top tier teams, and I think they're one of the teams that's not really talked about as much as they should this season. I think they're going to have a late March Madness tournament run, and they'll probably be right back in the what was that? Final Four.
Final Four last year. Yeah, they beat Oklahoma
Final
State to
Four.
get to the Final Four.
Yeah, though. I mean, I see them right back there with obviously there's almost like 10 stacked teams this season, so they're in that mix. But I just feel like they're not getting enough credit from continuing, what they built on last season, adding a few more pieces. So they're up there.
Yeah, final game of the week. Villanova got their first win, 95-63 over Wisconsin. A tough Wisconsin team, Percy, who we saw play well in the preseason and then play well in week one. But Villanova, 29 points from Calvin Profit, another guy that's on my freshman of the year watch list. That is a big time game. 15 points from Jaden Andrews, 11 from Joey Phillips. And then on the Wisconsin side, 16 from Patterson, continuing to play just great for Wisconsin. Percy Mill at 14 and Copley at 11. But speak to this young Villanova team who, Calvin Profit is becoming a man before our eyes here in the CSBA.
I would get Villanova. I've been going at it with Profit all day long in league chat. So that's hilarious. No, but that Villanova team is young, and dude, Profit, man. All jokes aside, bro, you hot right now, bro. You the player to watch in the league right now, man. You got all the clout. Yeah. But like I said, like I've been telling you in league chat, it's a team game. So once you got a badass team, man. Once y'all start playing together and getting y'all's game down, y'all gonna be tough in that conference, man. That every team in that conference is gonna be tough. So y'all gonna get it together and y'all gonna be right there with them. That was a good game. They just played a good game.
Yeah, that was a great win from Villanova, and like you say, the Big East is going to be fun to watch. Profit definitely leading that team, but that was a team win for sure. Profit had 29, but the entire Villanova team played great. So congrats to the Wildcats and Coach Joey Phillips on his first win there. Moving on to this week, actually, let's take a look at the rankings real quick. B-Mills did his weekly rankings. I think they're already posted, but let's take a look at the rankings real quick and see where B-Mills got everybody. Oh, that's not it. Here we go. Kansas number one still. I can't argue with that after the win streak they're on. UConn number two. Oregon number three. Oklahoma State 4. FSU 5. UNC 6. Clemson 7.
8.
Kentucky 8. Georgetown 9. Marquette 10. Tough to argue with that, guys. That top 10 is actually pretty well ranked. I might flip-flop maybe Oklahoma State and Oregon, but that would just be petty, I think. But, Zach, tell me about this top 10.
Kentucky's a little high. I would have put Georgetown over them. No disrespect to them. I just think Georgetown's a more talented team. But besides that, I mean, B-Mills did do a great job. UCLA is where they need to be. I think I can't see, but they were pretty lowly ranked last week. And obviously Michigan dropping out of the top 10. I mean, Tennessee, you just pissed off Shane Page, and we're all going to feel the rampage of that.
Yeah, thanks,
guys. Big mad.
Thanks, Tennessee.
Yeah. Thanks,
I mean, Kentucky jumping 6 spots is a little maybe a reach for me. Maybe I'd give them maybe 10. They beat Syracuse. It's a good Syracuse team. Syracuse is 0-2 right now. They're definitely the best 0-2 team maybe I've ever seen in my life. But Indiana won last week, so that might be a typo. But maybe a little bit of a jump there for Kentucky. I think they're worthy of a top 10 team for sure. And these Big East teams below them may not be all the way proven yet, so I'm actually okay with that. Tech, tell me about 11 through 20 here. Gonzaga, UNLV, UCLA, Oregon State, Duke, Michigan, Michigan State, Villanova, Ohio State, and Syracuse.
Yeah. Still a little tough to rank a lot of these teams because it's so early. I think Michigan should be a little higher there, but with that loss to Tennessee, I can understand why they come in at 16. In my opinion, they're probably the number 11 for me. But But I mean, this is a pretty good. I mean, any of these teams in this 11 through 20 could be a little bit higher, but I think it's pretty accurate. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, let me ask you: is it fair for Michigan to fall from 5 to 16 with a loss for Tennessee? One, and is it fair for Oregon State to fall from 4 to 14 with a loss to UConn?
Uh, I think the Michigan. I don't think they should have dropped that far. Like I said, I think they should be minimum 11. And Oregon State, I agree with that too. Losing the UConn is, I mean, you shouldn't really be hurt too much by that because that's almost expected at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, Soderstern said we lost to Kansas. Y'all only dropped 3 spots, so I mean, I think that's fair to drop 3 spots after a loss
Right.
to a good team like Kansas. I would think that Michigan, I could see the drop. Losing to Tennessee, that's a bad loss. Oregon State, I don't know if that was completely fair. Getting to 14 there, but like you said, it's hard to rank these teams at this point in the season. We're 2 games in, so all these rankings are going to get shaken up again this week in week 3. Percy, tell me about these last 5 teams: Tennessee, USC, Florida, Indiana, and Texas. 2 of those teams not ranked last week. Tennessee and Florida jump into the top 25.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's 5 more teams that were out of it. I understand how B Mills, says he has such a hard time doing this, man. Because I mean, I could see a team like Texas in the top 15 by the season's end. Maybe even Tennessee. But Florida's looking good.
Yeah.
Indiana's looking good. USC's looking good. You know what I'm saying? Any one of those 5 teams could be in the top 15, top 10, top 20 next week, or even, like I said, by season's end. So I mean, the CSBA just has too many tough teams to even try to do a top 25. So shout out to B Mills. You're doing your thing.
Yeah, B Mills doing great with these. It's a tough job to have, but he's done fantastic. So appreciate you, B Mills. Let's go to next week real quick. Let's touch on the games from next week. Kansas USC is our first game tonight. I think Percy's talking about the early games, right, Percy? What do you got? Who's got 7 p.m. games? Percy? Is he on mute?
Yes, I think I do.
I think it was him. Yeah.
So tell me what we're looking forward to for Kansas and USC. USC coming off that loss last week. Kansas 2-0 off that big come from behind win. This game on paper looks like a blowout, but we've seen crazier things happen already.
Yeah, it just depends on if Mo Buckets and got the other guy on USC, their other center, they can hang with. Yeah, Roxbury, man. It just depends if Buckets and Roxbury can hang with Scarn and Mr. Jar Duncan. Mr. 8 blocks, 7 blocks a game. They're those 2 guys are monsters. And then you got Brock Lee, who I've been screaming all year, MVP candidate. And then you got Tez Green at the PG. I mean, hey, Kansas is stacked. Kansas is tough. It's going to come down to the benches, really. I think USC's bench can outplay Kansas's bench. I think that would be what would be the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I think USC and Kansas match up really well in the front and with their guards and wings. Neil Mason stands strong, and Ling Yao have been really good for USC. I would agree with you that I think it's going to come down to the center, the big men play, and the bench, where I have to give the nod to Kansas for sure there. But we've seen crazier things happen, so we'll see what that is. Our first game of the week that's coming up that's actually going to be 7:15, not 7 p.m. Second game of the night will be Duke and Oregon. Duke talking a big game, coming off a big win. Oregon just kind of going about their business. Tech. What do you see happening in this one? You're muted.
Yeah, my bad. Both teams a lot of jawing in the league chat today, talking about this game. I know Oregon's been a little slept on, like I said a few minutes ago. But Duke, after their win last week, is really feeling it. So this is going to be a great game to see. I hope everybody comes out to watch this one. I personally think Oregon is going to edge it out, but I think Duke is going to give them a great game.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fantastic. Oregon is definitely used to being slept on by now, for sure. So Coach Misfit and the Ducks definitely know what they're up against. This is a hungry Duke team who just got a big win. So uh, you don't want to sleep on them if you're Oregon, because if you're hot, you run into a hot team, you can get beat. So Oregon's going to have to play another good game. We'll see what Duke can come out with tonight. And the last game of the night, Clemson and Kentucky, should be a fantastic game. Zach, who do you got in this one? I know that this probably is the closest game. If I had to look at pick'ems, I think this is probably the closest game of the week so far, based on pick'ems. But who do you have in this one?
It's tough, Wired changed up the lineup, I noticed last week, and put Caden and Anthony starting. Um, is that group? I think they're both great point guards. Don't get that mistaken. But is that group good enough to stop Clemson's guard play? Because we've seen them. What are their names? I don't even remember.
Yeah, and they got three great
Charlie
point guards.
Banks. Yeah, Banks, Ty White, and then
And Bueller.
Yeah, that
Bueller.
guy.
Yeah.
Baker Bueller, I think is his name.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's gonna be the deciding factor, and if Allen, of course, if he can play well, I think Kentucky can take it. If I had to pick, I mean, I would maybe go Clemson, but I mean, I could go either way and not be mad about it.
Yeah, I think that it's gonna be a fantastic game. I think Clemson's got a lot to prove, and this is one of those games where even though they're 2-0, this is a statement game for a Clemson team against a Kentucky team on the road. Clemson's got to go into Lexington, so Clemson's got a lot to prove in this game. But I think they're phenomenal. They're young, so we'll see if that youth kind of makes them struggle a little bit against more of a seasoned Kentucky team. But I agree up front, they match up well. The 2-point guard look for Clemson against the 2-point guard look for Kentucky. Granted, he keeps the same lineup in there. Ronald Burgundy, I don't see a matchup for him. It's going to be hard for anybody to guard him. And then Lennox Rice and Moses King, they can really stretch you. So again, I mean, Clemson's got a look that they can really make a difference against this Kentucky team. It seems like Kentucky keeps running into these 5-out teams. Maybe he scheduled that on purpose so that he can kind of get used to it a little better. But yeah, it's going to be another good game. Tomorrow, Florida State, Wisconsin. Percy, Wisconsin coming off a loss. Florida State, top 5 team now, but Wisconsin's got a home game against the top 5 team. Can we see some magic from the Badgers, Percy?
Man, Wisconsin. Damn, hold on.
Too many plus.
My bad. Yeah, too many plus, but I just said I was high. Anyway, yeah, Wisconsin's a team that me and you have been talking about all season since last year, and on Hawk Talk. They just keep getting better and better and better every game, and they recruited a lot of good guys, and they've built a pretty good team. But man, who are they playing?
Florida State.
Oh, Florida State. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Florida State, man. I talked about them earlier. That 5-out that's a lot to handle. So I honestly think Florida State's going to get the win.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Wisconsin is capable of running 5-out themselves. It's a poor man's 5-out, but they're capable of doing it. Cheetah Bird is going to be probably the difference again in this game. But last week we saw Kentucky really punish. Or who did Wisconsin play last week? The point guard played really well in that game. Where am I here? Look what Percy did to me. Villanova, Prophet went off. So now they get Monty Wyatt, who's another great offensive threat point guard. So we'll see if Wisconsin can reverse their woes from last week in that game. Second game of the night, UCLA and Louisville. Tech, is this the game? Louisville's at home again against UCLA. Louisville gave Michigan State a scare last week. Can they stay in front this time and learn from that loss last week about how to close out games and close out the Bruins for their first win?
Yeah, almost edged them out there. Michigan State last week, the Cardinals just played a really great game, and I think this is going to come down to two things for both teams to decide the winner. I think 3-pointers, whoever's going to shoot better from the 3-point line and the free throw line. So Louisville went 8 for 15 last week,
Mm-hmm.
which is really great shooting. UCLA struggled 3 for 10. So if they come out shooting like that, Louisville's going to give them a really good game. And then the other point at the free throw line, Louisville shot 11 for 11, and UCLA shot 14 for 15. Both teams pressing the issue, trying to get to the basket, drawing the fouls. It's going to be a great game to watch. I think it comes down to one of those two things. And I say UCLA pulls it out.
Yeah, the matchup of up to no good and Corey Dobbins is going to be one to watch in that game for sure. Should be a good one. Ohio State, Georgetown. Zach, the Hoyas keep coming from behind. Ohio State's a team that you don't really want to come from behind from. Who do you got in this one?
Like you mentioned earlier, Sean Moore didn't have the best game last week. I don't see that happening again. History tells me just how talented Georgetown is. I think they're gonna take this, but I mean Ohio State could certainly take this. I mean you got Sean Moore, Lene Fauché, and that group of Ohio State. They're just a nitty gritty team. Like we were saying on the broadcast, they're not a sexy team by any means,
Yeah.
but if they have everything go right, they could definitely take this.
Yeah, and I know two of my guests know all about not sexy in the San Antonio Spurs and just getting it done from being down there. And they remind me a lot of a team like that where they're just not flashy, but they just get the job done. So we'll see if they can beat Georgetown in that one. Next game, Purdue and Oklahoma State. This looks like a David versus Goliath matchup right now. Although albeit Purdue's had been extremely improved so far. I got to give it to Coach Ryder. They look really good. But right now, Oklahoma State, Percy, looks like they're on a mission.
Yeah, again, I talked about them earlier, man. They're just looking to kill anybody and anything in their path, and that includes Purdue tonight. Bigums versus Gold Mall. I mean, that's going to be the matchup of the night. Can Mall stop or even attempt to stop Bigums? And then you got this guy named Trey Upton. I mean, who's gonna, you know what I mean? Who's gonna stop that guy? I mean, and then they got any player 1 through 10 can come in and lead the team in scoring. So, I mean, Purdue's got a lot to try to stop tonight. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean this screams flyover game to me for Oklahoma State. I hope that they don't overlook this game because Purdue can make you pay. Will be interesting if this young guard tandem from Oklahoma State can stop Jay Holiday. He's been really good for Purdue. But yeah, definitely screams flyover game to me, and hopefully Oklahoma State, isn't overlooking the Boilermakers. Thursday, no, it's still Wednesday. Villanova and Texas. This has actually got the makings of one of the better games of the week. Tech. I know it doesn't look like a ton on paper. You're like, oh, Villanova, Texas, that's cool. Not great, like huge names, but matchup wise, like this looks like a really good game.
Yeah, I think both teams on paper are pretty well matched. I think Texas has just been a little bit out of whack. They're a really good team, and I think a lot of people are not giving them the credit they deserve, especially after their run last season. But they're there. The pieces are there. This is going to be a great game. Honestly, I really feel like it could go either way. I'm going to give it to Villanova. I think they come out on top. I think their pieces are a little bit more put together, but definitely going to be one to watch.
Yeah, game 2 with Hunter and Case for Texas, along with Mason. We'll see if they can turn that around. Villanova coming off a big win. They're pumped up, but they're on the road in Austin. So we'll see in that game for sure. Notre Dame, Tennessee, a matchup between two teams that are towards the end of the rankings. Tennessee obviously coming off that upset. Notre Dame needs a big win. I wouldn't call it an upset if Notre Dame won, Zach. But, I think this is a game that the Irish really need.
Yeah, and I think the signing they got last week, Robert Cron,
They got two.
signed as they got 2 of them. I must have missed the other. But Robert Cron came in as a blue chip, and that's a big signing for Notre Dame. I know they were one of those teams who's looking to try a 5 out, but now with Cron, they have a paint beast, so they can kind of go versatile if Dylan chooses to do that. But I mean, you mentioned it earlier. I think everything went perfect for Tennessee to beat Michigan. I don't see that happening this week. I think Tennessee is a great feel-good story, but I think Notre Dame's going to take this one.
Yeah, this is like I said, I think Notre Dame really needs this game, but we'll see. Tennessee is resilient, so that should actually be a really good game as well. Thursday, Oregon State, Indiana. Um, Percy, the Beavers come off a heartbreaking loss last week. Indiana coming off a win. Oregon State looks to get back on track in this one as they have to travel to Indiana.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be a hard game for Oregon State. Indiana's been playing good, and they just had a guy go off of what 30 something points
Yeah,
in his last
Doug
game.
Gracos, yeah, 32.
Uh, so 3 Chains and Turk and company are gonna have to stop that guy, and Indiana's looking for a win. They're looking for to start a win streak. They're hungry. They're a team that we talked about last season that was just getting better and better, and I think they just got a lot of pieces this year um to just make a run. So I think they're going to be pretty good. So it's not going to be an easy win for Oregon State if they win the game.
Yeah, my apologies. Indiana did lose last week to Georgetown. I don't know why I thought they won. I guess they played well enough to win that game. So
Well, then
but
they're
yeah,
even more hungrier. They want to
they
win.
did lose to Georgetown last week, so my apologies there. But yes, very very hungry team. Let's see where we're at. Florida, Providence, Tech. The Friars need to win. They need to win badly. They get to go home. Florida's got to travel to Providence to face these Friars. Florida's coming off a win, and Providence really needs one here.
Yeah, just like my brother touched on, I mean, Providence has a fire inside of them after that big loss to UCLA to come back and get their first win of the season. Have they won this season?
Providence does not know.
Yeah, to get their first win. I think Florida's a team that they could beat if they come out and play their game. But on the other hand, Florida coming off a win, getting a taste of what that feels like, and once you win, man,
Yeah.
it can change the whole game for you. And you just want to get back to that winning stage, that winning feeling. And Florida's trying to ride that hot hand.
Yeah, winning is contagious, as they say for sure, and it's So we'll see if the Gators can stay hot. On to Friday night, or last game on Thursday. North Carolina, UConn is the one we talked about as the game of the week. This should be phenomenal, Zach. I'm going to let you talk about this one. I mean, how do you break this one down?
Man, I mean it's tough. I mean, you've got Dick Dickey, LoJack, Percy Cooper, Mike Coco, Laird Olaf, Adrian Smith, Michael Scott, and those is alone, that's enough stars for 2 teams, and that's just North Carolina. And then you got Toloni, who's just changing up his lineups whenever. Man, shout out to both you coaches. I mean, I played against Toloni in the preseason. That was a nightmare, and then Percy just got better from last season. I don't know who to pick here. I think if North Carolina comes out on all cylinders, they can beat them. I mean, because UConn was, I don't want to say exposed, but if Lobo's not hitting those threes out there, I mean, they can be beaten. It was close. Um, so we'll see. It's going to be a Mike Coco against Prince Lobo or Walker Lobo. I think that's going to be the key matchup for this game.
Did you just combine?
Um,
Did you just combine Prince Snow and Walker Lobo? Is that like a Brangelina joke or okay?
Yeah. Anyways, moving on.
It's gonna be good, man. I'm definitely going to be telling the wife that I need to watch that game on Thursday night. Yeah, I'm watching that game. So we'll see what happens. That's going to be great. And then on Friday, Marquette, Syracuse should be another good one. Percy, Marquette 1-1 on the season. Syracuse 0-2. The Orangemen really need a win. We say this all the time. Syracuse started last year 0-2 as well, and then they made a run and didn't lose like the rest of the season until the tournament. So can the Orange do this? Can Syracuse do it again?
Man, Syracuse, man, Seaware versus Paul, man, they're both my guys, man. That's hard to pick. Uh, Syracuse is a good team. I mean, they like I said earlier, they're were one of the best teams last year all season, and they kind of made a run just like they starting like now, last season. So I think they can do it again. Marquette's going to be a tough team. I mean, we just played them last week, with the narrow win. So both teams that should be the game of the week right there.
Yeah, I think it's maybe the second game of the week besides the UConn North Carolina matchup for sure.
Yeah, I think Syracuse, the vets, they're gonna pull it off. I think they're just gonna be just just by a small margin, though.
Yeah, watch out. Darius Martin gets involved in that offense. Marquette's going to make a run
Agreed.
somewhere. So that's going to be a great one. Then Michigan State and Gonzaga, Baron Thomas versus Ted Stern, my good buddy Ted Stern, Sawyer Stern, rather. That's going to be a fun one for me, Tech, to personally, just because I'm great friends with Sawyer, and it's we always have that joke that we're pretty much the same guy. We just miss a lot.
Yeah, man. This game is going to depend on what Baron we see. Do
He's
we
going to get
see
benched
30
again.
do we see 30-point Baron, or do we see fourth quarter bench Baron? And who else can take over on that MSU team in the scoring category? But I mean, Gonzaga is a really good. These are both really good teams on paper. I think they're pretty evenly matched. I'm gonna go with an upset. Let's go with MSU over Gonzaga for this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think these teams are very even as well. Gonzaga, I think they're at home, and it's going to be tough to beat the Bulldogs at home. Stearns looked really good. Gonzaga's just looked tough. They lost the game last week, but they were a tough team. I think that a guy like Braylon Banks could be the difference again in this one. But on the Gonzaga side, Jade Mack looked like a beast in that game, and Michigan State struggled a little bit against Big so far, so you look for J-Mac to maybe be the difference for the Bulldogs. Ted Stern said 10% three-point percentage combined confirmed. I'd have to agree. Thanks, Ted. I think Barron and Ted are going to go about 3 for 30 from 3 in this game, so that's my call. And then the last game of the week, UNLV and Michigan. Zach, I'm going to call this the game of the pissed-off teams here. Michigan upset. Both teams upset last week. Now they get to face each other and kind of duke it out and brawl it out here.
Yeah,
no pun intended on the Duke,
one.
by the way. No pun intended on the Duke. Sorry, UNLV.
I mean, this is another one, man. Yeah, I got a tough slate. I mean, UNLV's got stupid talent. I mean, they've got Adrian King, LaFleur, JoJo, Horace Lynch. I mean, that's enough. I mean, just off paper, you would think be good for a championship. But then you bring up Michigan with Shane Page, Macy Pretchell. I don't know, man. This is gonna be a great game. I think the difference is gonna be how Shane Page is guarded by Dylan Harches. If Dylan can contain him, because Shane's gonna score no matter what. I think UNLV can take this, but I'm not gonna bet against Shane Page. Losing to Tennessee, like I said earlier, is definitely gonna get him back on his game.
Yeah, I mean, I know Shane's pissed off. I know Legion's pissed off. I know both these teams are just pissed off right now, and it's a great ending to week 3. To watch both of these teams that are just going to go out, and it's going to be a bloodbath, and that's going to be a phenomenal finish to our week. So there you guys have it, week 3. We're about 12 minutes or 15 minutes from game time here, but we got a couple of announcements. Starting in week 4, we are going to have the game of the week. This is going to be a flexed game, but it will be our CSBA game of the week, and we will designate that. And that will be played on Thursday at 8:30 every single week. We will have that. Zach usually draws the 8:30 game, and he's the best announcer in here. So Zach gets to call it on the game of the week. We haven't decided.
Cut that shit out, man.
We haven't decided who the week 4 game of the week is yet. It will be flexed to that 8:30 spot on Thursday, but we will start that in week 4. Along with we're gonna start getting a system together for how coaches choose some jerseys for their games and stuff. We showed you guys the jerseys a few weeks ago. We're excited about that. Had a couple hiccups applying them, but we're good now and ready to go with that. A couple other things. High school is the players are starting to roll in. I think we got 5 players now, Zach, in high school. So pretty much a full team right now. We got about 15 more to go by week 5. That high school league will start in week 5. We talked about a schedule, and we're gonna play. Every team's gonna play twice a week for high school. Since there's only 4 teams, there's gonna be a game on Wednesday and Friday, I believe, at 3 Pacific, so 6 Eastern. It's gonna be a little earlier, and then on Saturday they're both gonna play. I believe you said that was 12 and 2 Eastern, or 12 to 12. The back-to-back games starting at 12 Eastern. So we're excited for that in week 5 to see some of these guys that have joined us. Steven, I know, is in chat here. He will be in our high school league, so we're excited to see some of these guys. But wanted to make that announcement. We're ready for that. And then We will start doing Player of the Week again next week. We have a team in place to start putting voting out for Player of the Week, so we can get that back involved. And then this year for the All-Star Game, I think what we're going to do is we're going to vote league-wide on a pool of players this year, rather than me just deciding who's going to be in it. I want the people to decide. So we are going to have a league-wide vote that'll probably span a few weeks before All-Star Week. All-Star Week is, we're still determining that. I forgot what week I'm gone, but that's the week it's going to be. I think it's the end of March somewhere. But we're excited about that. But we're going to have a league-wide vote for All-Stars, and they'll go into a pool, and we will have our two coaches this year. It's going to be Shane Page and Tech will be drafting those teams this year. Tech doesn't know that, but surprise Tech.
Right.
I mean, the coaches that get to the final get to do that. That's a great honor. So if you guys saw our All-Star show last year, it was insane. We're going to do that again this year. Excited for that. So Shane Page and Tech will coach our teams this year. Congrats. Shane didn't know that either, so congrats, Shane.
Oh, you better pick me.
But you guys, if you make it, bro. The league will vote
I gotta be a write-in.
on a pool of players, and then Tech and Shane will vote.
Coach's choice.
Tech and Shane will draft those guys. So that's how All Stars are going to work this year. So we're excited about that. We'll still do the nominations for 3-point dunk contest from the coaches, and then we'll vote on that as well for the league. So that is everything coming up in the next few weeks. We're excited about all that. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening in the CSBA. Like I said, I think our league's in a really good place, and we're really just beginning. We haven't even scratched the surface of where we're going with this thing. So we're excited for all that. But it all starts tonight, guys. Kansas USC coming up in about 10-15 minutes here. Zach, any last words?
Show out, guys. I know last week was kind of a dull. Let's get our numbers back up. Have some fun. I mean, we're still looking for people to help out, broadcast partners, content, stats. I mean, you name it. You get CSBA credits. I mean, shit. You get free player credits. Get your player up better. So, we can always use that.
Yeah, I mean, and if, the viewership is one thing. I think we've done a really good job. Like Zach said, last week was a little down, but I think it was down across all of Twitch. But let's get that back up. I know that I love coming in and watching some of these streams. I'm not always in the good graces of the wife for watching those streams, but I can't stay away sometimes. So, but yeah, let's jump in and watch some of these games. Wired loves to do giveaways. I love to do giveaways when we get our viewership up. That really drives us and hypes us when we see 60, 70 guys in the chat. I mean, we have to go back to Zach's stream when we had like 127, which was insane. But you remember how insane that was? We were doing giveaways left and right, so it was fun. I mean, I almost think of it as the party sometimes when we're in there and we just the hype train was going. We were giving away shit. It was fun. So let's keep doing that stuff. Percy, any last words?
Yeah, man, just shout out to all the fans, the CSBA, all the guys who, show up to every game. There's a lot of those guys who watch all the games, who are there, no matter who's playing in the stream, being active, shout out to those guys, man. Get your friends in here, man. Everyone else who can be here for Hawk Talk can be here for the other games too. So, let's just get people in the chat like they were saying, and we got a lot of things coming for the CSBA. It's gonna be fun.
Tech, any last words?
Yeah, man. It's the end of the non-conference week. Next week it matters. Next week we're playing for all the marbles, man. So make sure you really look and make sure you're all the coaches out there really scouting for next week, because it is gonna go on your permanent record now.
Yeah, just get those locker rooms active, guys. If you haven't been as active as you'd like in the locker room, get in there and be active. Drive that team. We're seeing some cool stuff. We almost see Louisville pull an upset. We see Tennessee pull a huge upset. The league's in a really cool place right now, and I just encourage you guys all dive in and get involved, because you're going to miss something if you don't. So, but yeah, we're excited about that. And, week 3 is going to get underway here in about 5 minutes. I'm going to reset my computer. I'm going to jump into stream and get that set up, and we're going to go from there. But Zach, Percy, Tech. Appreciate you guys being on. Everybody in chat, appreciate you guys. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back with USC and Kansas in about 5 minutes. We'll see you guys next time.
Come back.
Later.